Let's explore pumpkin spice items in the US and the UK. Before the pumpkin spice latte was even a thing, pumpkin spice was just a spice blend most commonly used for making pumpkin pies. It doesn't contain any pumpkin, so what's in it?
If I had to take a few guesses in there, I would definitely say there's some ginger.
I mean, definitely
Cinnamon.
I'd say probably some nutmeg.
Garlic?
So let's take a look at the actual list. I'm seeing cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, allspice, and cloves.
Pumpkin spice has really taken over here in the US, and now it's fall, so we're gonna try and find the best pumpkin spice tasting thing. But first, let's rank the most popular pumpkin spice item, besides the pie, the pumpkin spice latte.
At Dunkin, you'll find the pumpkin spice signature latte, which you can get hot or iced. It's 3 pumps of pumpkin sweetener, 3 pumps of vanilla unsweetened syrup, and it's topped with whipped cream, caramel, and cinnamon sugar. This is almost more desserty than the other pumpkin spice options we have today. It comes in 3 sizes: small, medium, and large. But this means that I do have to figure out the price per ounce for all of these, so let's do that. These prices are definitely more expensive than I remember. I do feel like Dunkin is kind of creeping up there. It's kind of creeping up like next to Starbucks level prices, which I never would have seen coming. They're like supposed to be the cheaper option for quick coffee.
Here in the UK, the Dunkin pumpkin spice latte comes in 3 sizes. We have a small, a medium, and a large. Dunkin pumpkin is a bit of a tongue twister.
Ugh!
In classic Dunkin fashion, this is really, really sweet.
It has like a medicinal quality to it almost.
I'd say the main taste is sugar rather than pumpkin spice. That is a sweet drink. Of course, when it comes to pumpkin spice, you have to talk about Starbucks. The Starbucks pumpkin spice latte was kind of the face that launched 1,000 ships. It definitely brought pumpkin spice into the mainstream and spawned a ton of imitations across the other brands. Although Starbucks aren't credited with creating the pumpkin spice latte, in my opinion, they are definitely the ones that popularized it. Starbucks first released the pumpkin spice latte in 2003. Between 2003 and 2019, they'd sold over 424 million pumpkin spice lattes worldwide. That is a staggering number considering how little time it's available for. In the UK, the Starbucks PSL comes in 3 sizes: tall, grande, and venti. Look at the color on these. It's actually been a while since I had a Starbucks pumpkin spice latte.
The Starbucks pumpkin spice latte also contains a pumpkin sauce made with real pumpkin puree, which I did not know. I assumed they just used a syrup that was pumpkin spice flavored. It also contains annatto, which is a natural food dye derived from the achiote tree. That's what gives it its orange color. Here in the US, the PSL comes in 4 sizes: the short, the tall, the grande, and the venti. This looks like the liquid in your painting cup. That's just a mix of all the colors you've been using that day.
They actually trademarked PSL, which is really impressive. Let's give the PSL a try.
I swear the taste of this has never changed, which I like. I like that it tastes the same as when I was 14 to now. This is definitely one of the more tame pumpkin spice lattes when it comes to the sweetness level, which I definitely prefer. I think that it has a much more natural tasting pumpkin taste too, even though it's more subtle in this one.
I get like a lot of the spices. Yeah, that is it's earthy, I would say. It almost makes me feel like I'm a woodland fawn chewing on some tree bark. It's kind of the autumnal image that is conjuring up for me.
To be a Food Wars fan, you must know at this point that I am a bit of a basic. I look forward to seasonal things, I look forward to limited time things, and I gotta say, I do really like the pumpkin spice latte. I get them around the season. I should have worn a vest. After this, I'm going to a pumpkin patch. The white hat with the little puffy thing on here, right? Gotta do this. The fall season's finally here. I will say, compared to the Dunkin', this one tastes like a coffee drink. This tastes like a latte that has like a pumpkin spice flavor to it. But that's actually by design. The research and development team at Starbucks actually came up with their pumpkin spice latte by sampling pumpkin pie and sipping espresso at the same time. And guess what? We're gonna do the same. There it is. Yuli, come on with this. I could see them figuring out doing it this way, but they must have been like shove the slice in my mouth and like kiss an espresso.
Our next pumpkin spice latte comes from Joe and the Juice. We have two sizes. There's a 12 ounce that retails for $6.65. This coffee, this tiny little coffee. And then there's a 16 ounce, which retails for $7.45. I don't know what's going on in the world of coffee, clearly. I just feel like we're making a lot of mistakes with these prices and what we're getting.
Joe and the Juice offers pumpkin spice lattes and they come in two sizes. We have a regular, which is advertised as being 12 ounces, and a large, which is advertised as 16 ounces. I do have to say, I do not like Joe and the Juice as a concept. I feel bad because the guy in there was really friendly this morning. It's one of those brands that's designed to cater specifically to your friend who is a bit too obsessed with their macros and their protein intake and just kind of bores everyone with that chat every time they bring it up, but we move. Per ounce, the regular is one of the most expensive coffees we've had today.
It smells very gingery. That's actually what I smell the most.
I don't even understand what the flavor they're going for in this is. This is terrible.
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's good coffee, but I'm only really getting the notes of ginger, and that's about it. So it doesn't feel like a pumpkin spice latte to me.
Of the ones I've tried so far, this sits like somewhere in the middle. Greggs is a bakery chain in the UK, which is very much beloved by Brits. Greggs pumpkin spice lattes in the UK come in two sizes, regular and large. I love Greggs. You don't get to talk about it much in Food Wars because you don't have it in the US, and I think you are missing out. I will say it has a slightly unappetizing, like grayish color to it, this one. I'd say of the ones I've tried so far, that's by far the least aggressive flavor. I am mostly just getting kind of latte from this one. I think personally, if I am choosing a flavored latte, I don't want a flavor assault, so this is kind of more up my street. But I think if you want a stronger pumpkin spice latte flavor, you might be better off elsewhere. One thing that's unique to Greggs so far is that when we ordered it, they actually gave us customization options for the sweetness. I actually quite like that. Sipping this one, I didn't get that burst of sweetness like I did from the Dunkin latte, for example.
Krispy Kreme in the US offers pumpkin spice latte in usually 3, but today 2 sizes. Cannot get our hands on the small. We did get the medium and the large. We are once again going to measure to see what we are getting per actual fluid ounce. Easily the worst one. There is an aftertaste to this that I equate with like a chemically flavor to it. Like an acidic aftertaste is like, ooh.
It doesn't smell like any pumpkin spice latte I've had before. Tasting it, you definitely get a little bit more of the pumpkin spice flavor, but it's still pretty subtle, and I just don't think this is very good coffee. I don't think I like this one.
Now it's time to pick my favorite. I think by far the strongest flavor from any of these was the Starbucks one. Again, it wasn't necessarily the pumpkin I was tasting, but there were a lot of spices coming through there. I think Dunkin probably had the next strongest taste, although a lot of what I got from that was sugar. And then I thought the Joe and the Juice and Greggs ones were quite mild actually in terms of the pumpkin spice flavor. All in all, if I had to pick a favorite, I think it would probably just be the Greggs pumpkin spice latte.
Let's start from the worst. I do feel like Joe and the Juice had not a great pumpkin spice flavor, which I think is kind of the whole point of this, so it feels unfair to move it forward in this. So let's keep Joe and the Juice at the end. Krispy Kreme was bad coffee, okay pumpkin spice flavor, so I think it can stay in our third place. Here is where we have to change things up. I still think Starbucks is the best pumpkin spice latte in terms of taste, the pumpkin spice flavor, the nice cozy, comforting feeling that it gives. I really do think that they deliver on that promise of what they wanted to do with this drink. This is my number one.
Joe and the Juice, I mean, I almost want to disqualify it. I didn't taste any pumpkin, anything in there. After that, the second worst, but not much better, was the Krispy Kreme one. Sweet, artificial flavor, tasted gross and chemically, not a fan. Then Dunkin', I was not a fan when we first had it, and now I'm like, actually, maybe it's not so bad. Dunkin' drinks for me always tend to be a little bit like sweeter, and when I say stronger flavor, I've said medicinal. I'm not gonna get this, ever, but it's what you'd expect from Dunkin's. And hey, my favorite pumpkin spice latte is the most popular one. That's right, basic boy coming at ya, the PSL at Starbucks. Now, is there such a thing as a pumpkin spice tax? A study done in 2022 by Magnify Money found that pumpkin spice foods on average cost 14.1% more than non-pumpkin spice foods. Right here is a Starbucks Grande Latte, not pumpkin spice. It's $5.25. And over here we have the Starbucks Grande Pumpkin Spice Latte, $6.45. That's a 22.9% increase across these two. Here's my wipe down on it. I don't think it's more expensive because the pumpkin stuff is more expensive to do or it costs more labor. I also think the reason it's more expensive is because it's limited and seasonal. Hey, that's business, baby!
Let's compare the nutritional information from a pumpkin spice latte and a regular latte, and a grande regular latte in the UK.
Over here we have the grande pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks, and here we have the regular grande latte. So that's like way more sugar and therefore way more calories. I might be second guessing these pumpkin spice lattes.
I guess there is a chance that the increase in sugar and calories is being offset by the nutritional benefits of pumpkin. Realistically though, I do think they're using such a small amount that you probably aren't benefiting from it. Here are some pumpkin spice items you'll only find in the UK.
And let's get into some exclusive pumpkin spice items you'll only find in the US.
And here's even more pumpkin spice items you only find in the US.
At a US Dunkin', we've got frozen pumpkin coffee. I do want to taste this. You know what's interesting? I feel like pumpkin spice is a flavor that for me doesn't work when it's cold. It's good, it's just, it feels wrong. You know what I mean? Next, we have the almond spice coffee, nutty pumpkin iced coffee, pumpkin ice macchiato. I'm a little nervous by the look of this macchiato, but let's give her a twirl and see if that helps. There we go. I taste the pumpkin spice a lot less with the macchiato. I feel like I'm mostly just getting the espresso that I think is in here. And lastly, we have the pumpkin cold brew with cold foam that has disintegrated. We also have the pumpkin donut, which is amazing. I really like these. And they just introduced this apple cider donut. I've had it. It's not good. Go to a real farm if you want a good apple cider donut.
Our Dunkin' has a couple of autumn exclusives. Here we have a pumpkin spiced ring donut. It's kind of like gently glazed and it has this dusting of the pumpkin spice flavoring on top. I will be honest, most of what I'm getting from that is cinnamon. So it's kind of just like a cinnamon sugar donut, which is as tasty as it sounds. Beyond that, we have a candy apple donut. It's pretty good. Most of the apple comes from the filling. There's like an apple jam type of thing on the inside that's pretty tasty. Here in the UK, the seasonal options at Dunkin' have already pivoted kind of more towards Halloween, as evidenced by Frank over here, as well as Chocolate Monster. He just looks more surprised rather than monstrous, to be honest. It's going to be a bit of a theme here, but for the most part, Halloween is kind of the next big social event here, and we don't go too heavy on fall items. I'm the monster now.
Now moving on to exclusive Starbucks items, they got drinks and they got food. There's a pumpkin cream cold brew, an iced pumpkin cream chai. There is a pumpkin cream cheese muffin and a pumpkin and pepita loaf. Oh yeah, it's not bad. Nice flavor, not too strong. Next up for the drinks, we got the iced pumpkin cream chai. Not a chai guy. No, that'd be the chai guys. The chai guys? No, the chai guys. We only try chai drinks. Nobody watches our channel, 0 subscribers. Check out the chai guys. All right, chai guy says that's all right. Now this is a pumpkin cream cheese muffin. Let's be honest what we're doing here. This is a muffin with frosting. It's not cream cheese, it's frosting. I don't care what it says on the tin, that's what it is. That's fantastic. You also may have noticed these apple flavored drinks and snacks. We got an apple crisp oat milk macchiato and an apple croissant. I'm a bit apprehensive. I like apple flavored stuff just fine. Apples and coffee, it's drinkable. It just really feels like there's a column of apple and a column of macchiato, and they're not working together. This is like those fast food McDonald's apple pies. Croissant, sure. Apple and pastries, like I mean croissants are using it very loosely, but an apple pastry, yeah, that's all right. In the coffee, not so much.
There actually are quite a few pumpkin spice offerings at a UK Starbucks. Here we have a pumpkin marbled loaf cake. It's not that small, it just broke in half. That's pretty good. As you'd expect, it's a lot of the same flavors that you get in the pumpkin spice latte, just in cake form with like a cream cheese frosting. Something I've never tried before and I think might be new is this pumpkin smoothie. The ingredients describe this as a blend of apple juice with banana, apple, pumpkin, and ginger purees with some warm spices. The label does say it's 18% pumpkin puree, so there's actually like a significant amount of pumpkin in here. It's not the best. The main taste is apple juice, as the label suggests. Very appley. Not really getting much of the pumpkin. What I am getting is kind of almost like a baby food texture and consistency. Then we also have a couple of things which aren't pumpkin spice flavored, but I would consider a seasonal flavor here in the UK. Firstly, we have this toffee apple muffin. Generally, like toffee apples for me, the main memory I have is like bonfire night and toffee apples. So I would still kind of associate this with this time of year. And then here we also have a maple and pecan swirl. Also, it's not pumpkin flavored, but we do have these very adorable little pumpkin brownies. Another pumpkin thing on the Starbucks menu that sounded wild to me was the, and let me get this right, signature pumpkin cream iced oat shaken espresso. It's not bad, it's just kind of a bit weird. It's something to do with like the texture of the oat milk and the way that that interacts with the latte ingredients. We've done some Googling, and as far as we can tell, they're using like a pumpkin cream that contains dairy and then putting that on top of an oat beverage. I think typically you will pick one dairy or dairy alternative and stick with it. I don't know, seems a little weird. We also have this salted maple caramel latte. It's just a caramel latte. I don't understand where the maple has come from there. I don't taste any maple in that. It's just, I mean, it's nice. It's a caramel latte. Those are good. But where's the maple? Where's the maple and where's the salt? Oh man.
I have not been looking forward to this next thing. This is the Dunkin spiked pumpkin spice latte. I have had alcohol and coffee mixed together before. I don't know what it is about adding the pumpkin spice flavor to that combination that makes me feel ill. Like I'm actually scared to see what it tastes like, but we're gonna taste it. It already smells really strong. I'm kind of gagging a little bit, but let's pour it out and see what we're working with. Oh. It's the least pleasant brown color I've ever seen. For the record, this is what I consider a good looking coffee color. Compared to this, like, if I got served this at Dunkin versus this one, I just know I'm gonna have a bad day. Like this, if you see this color in your cup, you're gonna have a bad day. Your coffee's bad, it's not gonna be good. It needs to be something like this, Bottoms up. Oh my God, I have to like not smell it as I'm drinking it. It's somehow sour. It's creamy in the negative, not in a positive way, and very pumpkin spice forward, but that's terrible. That is really, really bad. I don't know why it tastes so sour and tart. This isn't old, right? That is not good. That is really not good. I'm so sorry, Dunkin. I still love you, but don't try to make alcohol. Moving on, we have an exclusive from McDonald's, the pumpkin and cream pie. I've found that with McDonald's pies, every time they try to experiment or try a new flavor, I don't really like them. I really love their regular apple pie. Okay, what I will say, it does smell like pumpkin, but more so in the savory vegetal sense. Like it smells like pumpkin, the vegetable, and less like pumpkin, the thing we're utilizing in a dessert. Weirdly, this leans more pumpkin the vegetable to me rather than a pumpkin pie filling, which is what I think they were trying to go for. I don't know what it is. I guess I can't be mad at it because it does taste like pumpkin, just not the kind of pumpkin I was expecting in this.
Costa Coffee is a coffee shop chain here in the UK. You might start to see them in the US more in the future, as I think they got bought by Coca-Cola a couple of years ago. They do have a full autumn menu, but again, they've gone down the maple route rather than the pumpkin spice route. They've spilled and stuck to this delivery cup thing, so I'm gonna have to sip it very carefully like this, but this is the maple hazel hot chocolate. Yeah, it's not too bad. I guess it's like kind of a Nutella type of flavor with the hazel and the chocolate going on. And definitely like a bit more sweetness, so some kind of maple syrup adjacent flavor going on there too. And then here we have a maple hazel latte. Yeah, it's okay. I feel like I've run into this with Starbucks Christmas menus in the past where trying to get like a hazelnut flavor syrup into a coffee is difficult, ends up tasting quite artificial, and they've kind of hit that same problem. In terms of the seasonal snacks at Costa, you can also have this nuts about maple slice. Like a gently mapley, kind of like fudgy flavor in the middle. And looking more ahead to Halloween maybe, there's this very cute little ghost biscuit.
Now this isn't pumpkin spice, but it's apple flavored and fall. And hey, the apple stuff is taking over, so why not give it a shout out as well? We have the Waterloo spiced apple sparkling water. Oh no, this sucks. Ugh. Yeah, I was right, this is bad. It's like carbonated apple juice, but also like the weakest apple juice flavor possible. It's not good.
Sticking with coffee shops just for now, we have a spiced apple and pecan muffin from Pret. Yeah, not bad. Cinnamony, gingery. Moving back to Greggs, they have a couple of seasonal items, including this pumpkin spiced donut. And then Greggs also have this pumpkin biscuit. Spooky. It's like a gingerbread biscuit with a little bit of chocolate on the outside. It's nice.
We also have an exclusive from Pop-Tarts, the frosted pumpkin pie flavor. I don't think I've had a Pop-Tart in like maybe 10 years, so interested to see what this tastes like. Can you see any of that pumpkin? It smells really pumpkin-y. I can really smell, it smells like pumpkin pie filling, so that makes me excited. It tastes like pumpkin pie filling. I do think the spice though leans a little gingerbready and not so much pumpkin pie, but I can definitely see the pumpkin pie inspiration.
Our studio is close to a really big Tesco supermarket here in the UK, and we looked up online which pumpkin spice products they offered in store. We actually only found 3 options. We have an air freshener, we have this Califia Farms pumpkin spice coffee, and even that's kind of an American brand. And we have this new Covent Garden Soup Co. pumpkin spice soup.
Trader Joe's always goes all out with the pumpkin stuff this time of year. Here is everything that we could carry. This is not even scratching the surface of all of the pumpkin items that they actually have in store, but it's a decent chunk of stuff. One interesting thing that I did find were these spicy pumpkin samosas. These sound incredible to me. I'm very into the more savory pumpkin options. Here is what the spicy pumpkin samosas look like. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is so good. They have this Trader Joe's brand pumpkin spiced teeny tiny pretzels. They have a yogurt flavored coating and they have crushed pumpkin spiced pumpkin seeds actually on the pretzels. I've never had these before. That sounds pretty nice though. They are teeny tiny. Oh my God. That is so cute. That is delightful. That pretzel is what saved it for me, the little saltiness from the pretzel. These are good. That is really good. We've got these mini hold the cone ice cream cones. I've seen these in a bunch of different flavors, but they do have this pumpkin and ginger one that I've never seen before. I am not the biggest fan of ginger, but I do understand that it probably goes well with a lot of fall flavors. These are cute. Oh my God. I love them. They look like play food. I cannot deny that this is very pumpkin spicy. I cannot deny that. It's just like not my favorite form of pumpkin spice that I've had. So this is one of the few items at Trader Joe's that's not Trader Joe's brand. It's the Danish Kringle from a bakery in Racine, Wisconsin. They get these shipped in. They do different flavors throughout the year, but during fall, we have a pumpkin one. So this is the pumpkin caramel Kringle. I'm gonna show you what it looks like. It's huge and very heavy. I'm not getting very much pumpkin spice flavor. I think that because the caramel frosting, I think, is such a strong flavor, it's kind of drowning out any sort of pumpkin taste that I'm supposed to be getting. I don't really taste any pumpkin, but it is good. I'll give them that.
Can you believe it? We got pumpkin spice flavored cereal. Good God, you can get pumpkin spice frosted mini wheats, pumpkin spice special K, and pumpkin spice frosted flakes. What I think is funny about this one is they got my guy Tony the Tiger in his own fall vest. How hilarious is that? Can you grab me the normal box? Oh God. I taste a difference, but this, it tastes closer to pie than it does pumpkin, but I don't know if this is necessary.
Oreo is always releasing new flavors, so of course they have a pumpkin spice cookie. These are the pumpkin spice Oreos. Oh, the pumpkin spice just hit me. It really does smell like pumpkin pie. I think this particular Oreo uses the golden cookie. That's okay. I feel like it's very cinnamon forward. Like it just kind of tastes like a graham cracker with regular Oreo stuffing.
I will say pumpkin as a brand or as a symbol does sell pretty well here in the UK around the autumn season. We were able to find this pumpkin spice and everything nice glass mug. While autumn, pumpkins and Halloween have definitely found their way into the decor styles of many Brits, I just don't think it's really made its way into the palettes yet. Most of our seasonal items, like I say, have already moved on to Halloween, which is kind of the next big event in our calendar. Here we have these Mr. Kipling terrifying toffee whirls. I'm not sure what's scary about a toffee whirl. We have some Mr. Kipling chocolate and orange slices. We have some Halloween chocolate orange cookies. I don't know what makes these Halloween other than the packaging. Chocolate and orange is an interesting one because I personally associate that more with Christmas time flavors, but I guess the kind of black and orange color scheme could be considered Halloweeny. And we have these Serene or Scream toffee apple slices.
Let's talk about pumpkin spice as a concept. Pumpkin spice actually has some deep roots in early American cooking. Colonists used pumpkins and added spices brought over from Europe to create pies, including the pumpkin pie we all know and love. Some of us, not me. I don't love pumpkin pie. In the 19th century, pumpkin spice became more standardized in recipes, and by the 20th century, companies began packaging pumpkin spice for convenience, so no more mortar and pestle. Thompson and Taylor Spice Company created the first ready-mixed pumpkin pie spice. The 9 spices in the mix weren't disclosed, but food historians believe it could have been a mix of cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, allspice, and cloves, along with possible additions like mace, cardamom, star anise, and black pepper. That's an interesting addition, black pepper. Nowadays, I think it's mostly associated not only with Thanksgiving, but with the entire fall season. I would consider pumpkin spice becoming available as sort of like a marker for the changing season. You know it's fall when you start seeing the pumpkin stuff, even if we're literally in week 2 of August. It's just how my brain works now.
I'd be lying if I said pumpkin spice wasn't a popular flavor here in the UK, but as we've shown today, it's nowhere near on the level that it is in the US. I think for me, the main thing is that we do not have a Thanksgiving meal here in the UK. Pumpkin pie is obviously very important to the Thanksgiving meal, and Brits just never had that exposure to pumpkin pie, pumpkin spices as a flavor that's really kind of embedded it in the consciousness of Americans. I'd go even further and say that the autumn season just isn't as big a deal in the UK as it is in the US. Kind of basing this on the movies and TV shows that I've seen, but I feel like in the US, you guys have this romanticized view of autumn. For you guys, it's like apple picking, pumpkin patches, the weather's still pretty good, it's like sunny but not too hot. In the UK, generally speaking, as soon as it hits autumn, it just means rain and shorter days.
Pumpkin spice is still a flavor I consider polarizing. You either love it or you hate it, or you just get bullied for liking it. But it's also a flavor that gets put into seemingly everything whenever fall rolls around. We've seen pumpkin spice cheese, pumpkin spice deodorant, pumpkin spice Spam. I would try that, but it's a lot. It's a lot. There's even those pumpkin spice dude wipes. Why do men need their own brand of flushable wipes? And why would you want it to be pumpkin spice scented? Lately, pumpkin spice has been popping up in America earlier and earlier. The Starbucks pumpkin spice latte was first released on September 8th, 2003, and in 2024 it was released on August 22nd. Since holiday or seasonal releases tend to give a financial boost to companies like Starbucks, the reason we see pumpkin spice earlier each year might just be because they know people will still buy it. It doesn't matter if we're actually in fall or not. But it does feel weird walking into a grocery store or a coffee shop and being surrounded by fall imagery and flavors when it's literally still summer. It's very bizarre.
What a journey we've had today. Pumpkin spice flavored in general. I love pumpkin pie. I look forward to it every season. I am surprised that most of the things that we had today were terrible. If this video's taught me anything, it's that like Starbucks is the only one doing it right? My favorite things, pumpkin spice latte. I like that pumpkin cold brew. I did like the apple croissant guy.
Of the pumpkin spice flavored things that I had today, I think my main highlights have to be the Greggs latte and the pumpkin loaf from Starbucks.
I think out of all the stuff I tried today, most of my favorite items were from that big Trader Joe's pumpkin haul. I loved those samosas. I loved the pretzels. I think because they make so many pumpkin spice, pumpkin flavored items, they really have a big pool. And when you have a big pool, you're probably gonna find stuff that's good. On the bottom, Paige, you were good. I need you to be better. And on top of the pyramid, of course, is Starbucks.